Well, happy Thursday morning to you, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Don K. Preston. I am the president of Preterist Research Institute of Ardmore, Oklahoma. This is what I call my morning musings. I'm just, I'm sitting here having a cup of coffee. Well, more like 4 or 5 cups of coffee. But anyway, enjoying my morning. Boy, I tell you what, we've had just a fantastic rain this morning. Lots and lots of rain. Anyway, great to have you back. We are continuing our study of the resurrection of 1 Corinthians 15. What I've been sharing with you is a comparison between 1 Corinthians 15 and Romans chapter 8, where Paul discussed the birth pangs of Messiah, the concept of the tribulation immediately before the resurrection. Now, let me emphasize the fact that this motif, this connection between the tribulation and the resurrection is absolutely biblical to the core. It simply will not work to take the position of G.K. Beale, for instance, who believes the tribulation started in the first century and we're still in the tribulation. That's really nonsense. And I don't mean to be unkind at all. I respect Dr. Beale, a fantastic scholar in many ways. But to suggest that for 2,000 years, we have been in the tribulation, the great tribulation, the tribulation that Jesus said, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as has never been, nor ever yet shall be." Really? Folks, the world is experiencing, in many places, some of the greatest peace, the greatest prosperity that the world has ever seen. Where is this great tribulation supposed to be anyway? You can't say, oh, well, the great tribulation has been in Israel for the last 2,000 years. It just doesn't work. The great tribulation was to be immediately after and directly linked with the appearing of the abomination of desolation. Matthew 24:15 and following. When you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the holy place, let those who read understand, then let those who are in Judea flee. Verse 21, for then shall be great tribulation such as has never been. Okay, that demands that the great tribulation is centered in Israel. You can't even make the argument that the great tribulation has been ongoing in Israel for the last 2,000 years. It doesn't work. And thus, when we see this absolutely indivisible, unbreakable, inseparable bond between the great tribulation and the resurrection, and we realize that the great tribulation was a first century event, then when we start going through the New Testament, for instance, and we see the New Testament writers talking about the tribulation that was either coming or already present, as in Revelation chapter 1 and verse 9, and when we see that, for instance, the 144,000 out of all 12 tribes of Israel came out of the great tribulation, and when we realize that the 144,000 were the first fruit of men redeemed to God out from among men. Revelation 14, 2-4. Once again, that absolutely demands that the Great Tribulation was in the first century. And so, to drive this point home, all right, to absolutely drive this point home, once a person admits, if a person admits to the reality of the connection between the Great Tribulation and the resurrection. Now notice, Matthew chapter 24, for then shall be great tribulation, such as has never been since the beginning of the world, nor ever yet shall be. Verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars of heaven shall fall from the sky, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and they shall see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Do you catch the power of that? What's the coming of the Son of Man? Well, it's the time of the coming of the Son of Man and the sounding of the great trumpet for the gathering of the elect. Folks, that's the resurrection, as I've shared with you in an earlier video. So what do we have? We have in Matthew 24, this is a bit repetitious, and I know that, but I'm just simply trying to drive home this reality of how important the connection is between tribulation and resurrection. Once you see that connection in all of these other passages that I've shared with you, and then you come to Matthew 24, and you see the prediction of the abomination of desolation, the great tribulation, the coming of the Lord, and the gathering, which is the resurrection, and you see Jesus' direct statement, Matthew 24:34, verily I say unto you, this generation shall by no means pass away until all of these things are fulfilled. Then guess what? It is unavoidably true that the resurrection was in the first century related to the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70. That's exactly what I've shared with you in Revelation chapter 11. Now, come Monday, we're going back to Revelation, and I'm going to share with you other passages in the book of Revelation that show to us, number one, the direct connection between the tribulation, i.e. the judgment on Jerusalem, and the resurrection, the time of salvation, the time of the kingdom. These connections are extremely powerful, and they prove definitively that the fall of Jerusalem in AD 70 was the time of the resurrection. Don't forget to get a copy of my book, Who is This Babylon? I discuss all of these connections, some more than others. I'm sharing with you some information now that I do not cover as extensively in this book. Nonetheless, this book is chock full of proofs that the resurrection was in AD 70. Go to my website, donkpreston.com, BibleProphecy.com. Order this book. Be sure to send me a note saying that you saw the offer on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll pay your shipping. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. Do not forget that tomorrow we will be continuing our investigation, my response and review of Joel Richardson's book, Mystery Babylon, Unlocking the Bible's Greatest Prophetic Mystery. I'm going to share with you something from Revelation chapter 17 that absolutely, positively refutes Mr. Richardson's claims that Babylon of Revelation is Mecca, the capital of the Islamic Caliphate. You don't want to miss it. So we'll see you on the flip side.